Hi, this is Dr. J. Wilson, and we're about to introduce the Wilson Protocol. So this is Jim, my patient who has graciously consented to donate his body to science and help us to explain the Wilson Protocol. Everything that I do is done primarily with a leg check. You can see I have shoes that will fit almost anybody. And we even have shoes for little princesses. So if you can see, his left leg is about 1/2 inch shorter. Now we want to start out with the system being balanced and the legs even. Now I'm an activator doctor, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust them with the activator. So now we have the system balanced, the legs are even. Okay, so on our last visit with Jim, we treated heavy metals. So what we're going to do first, after we have the system balanced, is we're going to check and see if that's still reacting. And we find that it is. So we're going to go ahead and retreat it again. And we're going to do this, Jim, by working on what I call the master reset button, which is the control point right up here. It's a major acupuncture point and the brain stem. So we're going to use the new stem instrument. And just 3 or 4 or 5 clicks. And we'll come back down and we'll find that the legs are even again. So then, we're going to take this out of his energy field for just a short time, just 7 to 10 seconds, not very long. And then we'll put it back in. And we'll see that it gets short again, but it's not as short as it was initially. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and retreat it again. And when we come back down, we find that the legs are once again even. So we'll take this out of his energy field, again, 7 to 10 seconds, not very long, and then we'll put it back in. And we'll see that it is still short, but not as short as it was. We can see it's maybe about 1/8 of an inch now. So we're going to come back and we're going to do this until we get it clear. Might be 2 cycles, it might be a half a dozen cycles. Now, you can see that there's actually the left leg that was short before is now actually a little bit long. So the body is overcompensated, and that's exactly where I want it to be on this visit. We're going to treat some acupuncture points with a cold laser. It's just a small laser, and we start out by using it on the master reset button for just a few seconds. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to treat the whole ear. And the reason we treat the whole ear is because there's a branch of acupuncture called auriculotherapy. Auriculotherapy, the whole body is represented in the ear. So we're going to be lasering this for about a half a minute, because our purpose here is to get a balance in the acupuncture energy system while you're holding this in your hand, Jim. Then we're going to work on the bladder meridian. There's 12 meridians in the body, if you're not familiar with acupuncture, and each one's named after a particular organ. The bladder meridian starts either side of the bridge of the nose, cuts up over the head, down either side of the spine, down either leg to the little toe. So I'm going to have Jim take a nice deep breath for me, and I'm going to zigzag down the bladder meridian. Take a deep breath down the bladder meridian. We're going to do this 3 times on each side. Deep breath, out easy. Deep breath, out easy. Deep breath, out easy. Now take a deep breath, let it out slow and easy. Deep breath, let it out slow and easy. Now you notice I always come back to the master reset button. And my left hand is gliding down the spinous processes or the governing vessel channel. Now let's pant. So we want them to pant. I tell them like a little puppy dog on a hot summer day. And again, we're going to go down either side on the bladder meridian. Okay, breathe normally. Then we're going to do some individual acupuncture points. We're going to do lung 7. And large intestine 4. And we're going to do gallbladder 34. And then we're going to do kidney 3. And spleen 3. And then we'll do the corresponding points on the opposite side. Spleen 3. And kidney 3. And gallbladder 34. And we'll do large intestine 4. Now, normally I would be on the other side, but because of the cameras, we're doing it this way. And lung 7. And then we'll laser the ear again on the back. So what we're doing, Jim, is we are reprogramming your brain and nervous system to accept this now as being okay, because the body perceives a allergen as a foreign invader. So we're now kind of reprogramming it so that it says it's okay now, it's not a problem. Okay? So we'll do one last check. And there he is. So we're through for today. On the next visit, when he comes back, we'll again recheck the heavy metals that we treated today. If it's not reacting, then we move on to the next item on the list.
Very good.
I work by myself without a CA, so I try to set this up before the patient gets in the room. And I just take my finger and I glide it down each row like this and set them up at an angle. And I'll explain why we do that in a minute. So when I'm testing the patient, I'll take the vial, whatever, one at a time, place it in their hand, and if the leg gets short, then we know that we have an allergy problem. And to some degree, you can get a sense of the severity, because if it gets a 1/4 of an inch short versus 3/4 of an inch short, it gives you an idea that we're dealing with a more or less severe allergy. So when I get done testing it, if it's positive, I leave it up at an angle. If I test it and it's negative, then I press it down. And the reason I do that is that when I go to write it up on the computer, I just record the ones that are standing up. If I was to have a CA, I would have her hand me the vials and make the notation on the computer whether it's positive or negative. Okay, let's take a look for a minute at this chart, which has been specially programmed for me. It's in an Excel spreadsheet, and it's in Excel, so it's very changeable. You'll see that there's a button here that's either green or red or blue or yellow. If I click on this one, for example, the first time you see that it shows up blue and it says negative. If I click on it again, it'll show up red and says positive. So when we're testing and we find out positive allergens, we'll click it so it turns red. And then when we treat it, we click it again and it says treated in yellow. And then we put down the date that we treated, and the date automatically gets inserted. Next visit, when he comes back or she comes back, if this, we'll check it to see if it's clear. If it's not, we'll treat it again and we'll put the date in for that day. So this has been a very, very handy chart that's helped me a lot, and it's going to help you too. And it's in your kit on the flash drive. Okay. So it's a very handy chart and one that works out really, really well. As you can see, there's the environmentals here. There's the foods. And then there's the hormones and neuroreceptors, or neurotransmitters, excuse me. And then infectants like candida, parasites, and so forth. Finally, the inhalants, and then the nutrients. So this is a very handy chart, and it saves a lot of time and a lot of writing.